if you get caught, you're done. You're banned from whatever sport you're in. It's really not that difficult. And that would stop people from betting on sports as an athlete.
I just don't think you can take it away so abruptly.
Welcome to episode 295 of Empty the Bench here on the Empty the Bench Network, presented by Playback. He's Zain, I'm Nick Morgasen. Follow us on social media at ETB Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at ETB Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Close to 1,050 subscribers now as we climb the subscriber number, and we continue to climb our YouTube hours number as we have a 4,000 hour watch goal that we're working towards. If you can't watch on the video side, listen to Empty the Bench wherever you get your podcasts. All audio platforms are available at your disposal, so pick whichever one works for you. Also, Empty the Bench is presented by Playback, playback.tv/ETB Network. We are in the middle of the NBA season. Right now, currently, we are watching Red Zone on Sundays, which, by the way, another wacky NFL Sunday that we're coming off when we're finally through week 10. I can't believe we're 10 weeks through the NFL season, which is wild, right?
Yeah, I can't either. And later on in the show, stay tuned for our second half of the season predictions. We kind of went over our way too early playoff preview a few weeks ago, but now we're going to dig a little deeper into our second half predictions. So stay tuned for that. And for sure, another wacky week in week 10. I was just happy that my lock hit. So I was pleased about that. So,
yeah, like the front half of the week was bad, but I finally recovered in the second half. But yeah, playback.tv/ETB Network. Check us out over there. A lot of stuff coming up. A lot of NBA doubleheaders coming up. March Madness eventually will enter the fray. I can't believe I'm talking about that already.
Probably the college football playoff again, I would hope too.
I hope so, but we'll see what happens there. All right. A lot to get into this week. We actually are going to be leading with a sport we don't talk enough about on this show, which is Major League Baseball. We're going to get into the Cleveland Guardians betting scandal, which, by the way, you said something to me in irony before this show started. 3 straight betting scandals across professional sports.
In 3 different sports, 3 weeks in a row.
Which you can't make that one up if you try. No. That's an incredible Hollywood script, if I ever saw one.
For sure.
But we'll get into that betting scandal. We'll talk about the new, is it the AP poll or the CFP poll?
Well, we'll talk about the new AP poll because the new CFP poll, by the time we're done recording, it will have not been released yet.
Oh yeah, that's right, because it releases on Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm,
so
that's correct.
So we'll talk about the AP poll. I'll tell you an interesting debate I had with Nick D on Leftovers on Sunday, because him and I battled over the whole win-loss thing again.
Okay.
So we'll get into that. We'll recap a wacky Week 10 in the NFL. Upsets all over, spreads-wise. We'll get into that. We'll break down some more college football, the SEC Big Ten playoff picture. We'll get into the NBA Cup a little, because even as an NBA savant, I'm not the biggest fan of the NBA Cup, but we'll talk about it. We'll get into second half NFL predictions. You'll lead the way for UFC 322 as that's approaching very quickly.
In your neck of the woods this Saturday, it should be a big card. So
with Makhachev and JDM leading the way on that card.
Absolutely, it's a big fight.
Big fight, especially with all the cloudiness going on with the UFC now.
That's correct. It almost feels like a distraction more than anything else. So that's very well said.
And I think I saw it had to be on Rome, because he's always on Rome. Like he was talking about, and I forgot the name of the fighter who broke down emotionally about fighter bonus pay. Do you remember seeing that on social media or no?
I do, but I'm blanking on who that fighter was myself.
So he went on Rome and essentially said like "F you" to like quite literally on I reach into the vault and I get my own money and I'll spend it how I please. It was a very funny quote.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, so we'll get into that. We'll give you Thursday Night Football like we normally do, and even though my team's in it, I'm not looking forward to it whatsoever.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we got burned on our predictions last week, so hopefully we can do better this week for you guys. We totally misjudged that, didn't we?
We both got it wrong on both fronts,
Yeah.
didn't we? Which
Yeah.
is, you know how rare that is to get two different picks wrong on one game. I mean,
Yeah. You had the over, and I had the Broncos. So
and both didn't hit.
nope,
So
both did not hit. Nope.
So, all right, let's get into it. This is obviously the big story for today. Well, for this week's show. So, another betting scandal hits professional sports, and so the news breaks that Emmanuel. Well, let me go back a second. So there already were reports of this going on. We had talked about this briefly when this story had come out that Cleveland Guardians pitchers Emmanuel Clase, who's the closer, and Luis Ortiz. I don't know if he's still on Guardians anymore.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. We had talked about it, but where did you talk about it when this first started happening?
I think we might have hit it on press row, probably briefly,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I think you and I talked about it in passing. But
Okay.
huge scandal. They didn't have all the ducks in a row yet to make a decision, but these two guys were involved. They were on, I think, unpaid leave, like they were suspended.
Okay.
And now it's officially come out that Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz were charged with fraud, conspiracy, and bribery stemming from an alleged scheme to rig individual pitches that led to gamblers winning hundreds of thousands of dollars, according to an indictment unsealed by federal prosecutors. Ortiz, who's 26, was arrested Sunday morning in Boston and will appear in court as we speak, as we're recording this. And Clase, who's 27, is not yet in custody as of this recording. But
I'm sorry, but that might be the sketchiest betting scandal of the three. I mean, you're talking about literally down to the literal pitch. That's as sketchy as you could possibly get. I mean, that's really. I mean, you want to talk about manipulation? I mean, just wow. I didn't think. I'm literally at a loss for words when you say that it was literally down to the actual pitch that determined some of these payouts. Unbelievable.
So what's weird about this situation is only like within the last year or two, you couldn't bet on pitches whether they were balls or strikes. That was not a thing that was on FanDuel or DraftKings or like our partners with Novig. You couldn't do any of that. I don't think Novig even allows that still because they're still on the newer side. But
interesting. I don't bet on baseball, so I would have had no idea that even those were even available. Okay.
What I will tell you is when that first came out, I was a little surprised because don't you think pitch rigging could happen a lot based on that type of thing?
You would think
it's kind of like apparently, and I looked this up for context. Apparently, some of these betting apps you can bet on free throws in basketball.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Don't you think that's a little sketchy too?
Yeah,
I
do.
So, prosecutors at the Eastern District of New York, the Brooklyn-based U.S. Attorney's Office that levied similar charges against Terry Rozier and multiple coaches in late October, said that the indictment that Clase arranged with a bettor as early as May of 2023 to throw specific pitches for balls so the gamblers could place prop bets and profit. Ortiz, prosecutors said, joined the scheme in June of 2025.
That was almost 2.5 years ago.
Correct. And between the two, gamblers won at least $450,000 in wagering on their pitches, while Clase and Ortiz were given kickbacks for the participation.
Oh my gosh. And they weren't already making enough money to begin with, so they wanted to make more, and that's how they did it? Wow. Wow,
Well, this is the whole Terry Rozier stupidity again, where Terry Rozier was making $27 million this year.
and apparently that wasn't enough money.
Apparently not. But it gets worse. So Clase and Ortiz each could face up to 20 years in prison for wire fraud conspiracy, 20 years for honest services wire fraud conspiracy, and 20 years for money laundering conspiracy, and 5 years for conspiracy to influence sporting events by bribery. So if I do my math, that's 65 years possibly in prison.
Yeah, that's not just life altering and ending, whatever you want to say. That's like, I mean, to not even see the light of day for 60 plus years is I don't know.
So it says the defendants deprived, and I'm looking at an ESPN article, by the way. The defendants deprived the Cleveland Guardians of Major League Baseball of their honest services. Quote, they defrauded the online betting platforms where the bets were placed, and they betrayed America's pastime. Integrity, honesty, and fair play are part of the DNA of professional sports. When corruption infiltrates the sport, it brings disgrace not only to participants, but damages the public trust in an institution that is vital and dear to all of us. Now, obviously, the lawyers for Clase and Ortiz are coming out and saying that they had no influence whatsoever, which I don't buy that for a second at all. But there is some videos out there, if you go on Twitter and other social medias, where it looks like clearly Emmanuel Clase like sinks a few pitches like into the dirt. So it looks clear that he's obviously throwing pitches for balls, knowing that they're going to get paid off for gambling.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know what to say anymore now that we've had 3 straight gambling investigations across 3 separate sports. Like, what are we supposed to do? I don't know what you're supposed to do at this point. Do you?
I don't know.
Like, do we just say, and for me, I would say just make gambling against rules for professional athletes and call it a day. I don't know. Like, I know NFL has some rules. Like,
No, the NFL has very strict rules. Like you can't bet in NFL properties. You can't be going to an NFL event and betting. You can't do any of that.
but they can bet on other sports.
They can, but they can't. Regardless, though, they can't bet when they're in either when they're going to an NFL event or getting ready to go in uniform. They can't do it surrounding like
The training facility.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. They can't. There's a lot of guardrails against that.
But you know how you fix this problem for good? Just tell the professional athletes they can't bet on any professional sports or college sports. Just put an end to it. Why is it such a desperation for these guys to bet?
Because I personally think it's so they can feel like the regular members of society because we're allowed to bet as lay people.
Right, but they have way more connections than we do to some of this stuff.
It's true, they do.
They have way more power. And you don't think athletes from other sports talk to athletes from other sports? Like,
They do. They do.
so they have way more power and way more accessibility to information. Look at Damon Jones when we talked about the NBA betting scandal, who was going and telling people, "Oh, LeBron James is injured. Go bet on the Lakers or the Heat to lose games at the time." So I think that all 4 leagues need to get together. Usually this doesn't happen very often, but all 4 commissioners,
All four leagues or all 5 leagues if you include UFC.
I guess if you want to include UFC and MLS for soccer, like, so 6.
Okay.
All 6 commissioners need to come to the table with an agreement that says no more professional athletes cannot bet on sports anymore. and take it away. And I know what people are going to say. Oh, well, you're taking away my freedoms for a choice I can make. Well, you work for private entities last time I checked, right? So they make the rules, not you. If you want to be a professional athlete, you can't bet on professional sports. I don't know. Like, do you think that's impinging on people's rights?
I think so, a little bit.
But how do we stop the scandals, though?
I mean, it's simple. They need to do a better job technologically of tracking people down who actually do it.
Well, no, they do. The leagues do have it. That's why they found out about these scandals, because FanDuel and DraftKings were the ones that flagged the accounts for the NBA and for Major League Baseball. So I think there needs to be rules. Professional athletes can't bet on professional sports or college sports. And actually, there's another part of this too, which we should have made it a separate banner, but we can make it part of this too. The 6 college basketball athletes and that scandal going on too. That I think there was 6 schools involved, and they were point shaving, and
it's correct. It's very similar to the Arizona State situation years ago.
But it's bad when it's making its way to college athletes point shaving games. That's bad. Like, how do we fix this if this is going from professional to college? Do you know of any solution of like what we have to do if this is now making it to the college level?
I mean, I don't know, but what I can tell you is someone who used to work in an athletic department role years ago, we had to sign a piece of paper that said we can't bet on anything.
Are you talking about the Big Ten thing, or are you talking about?
I'm talking about when I was an undergrad, when I was working in production for U of I.
Got it. Okay.
You just signed a piece of paper that said we can't bet on anything while we're in that position.
Well, you used to tell me when you were doing the Big Ten operator stuff too, right? Like you would say to me, "Oh, I have to sign an agreement that says I can't do anything on the premises while I'm working the games."
That's exactly right.
So why can't they do that with the professional athletes and say, "Look, you're in our league. It's simple. If you get caught, you're done. You're banned from whatever sport you're in." It's really not that difficult. And that would stop people from betting on sports as an athlete.
I just don't think you can take it away so abruptly, because these athletes, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you see it, have so much power that they feel like, oh, I'll just go sue and win a boatload of money.
You know how ridiculous that sounds, though, right?
No, I'm aware of that.
Because like we just said, Terry Rozier, $27 million salary heading into this year. And he was frauding for $200,000 or $50,000 bets, making $27 million. And if I'm not mistaken, Class A was making somewhere between like $6 and $7 million. So,
well, shoot, if you want to go back even further, and this is a name that probably hasn't been mentioned on YouTube in several years. What about somebody by the name of Art Schefter?
Oh yeah, I've heard that name.
He used to do this in the NFL back in the 80s, and he was banned from the league forever because of it.
And that's the point I'm trying to make.
And he would even bet on his own games.
Well, that sounds very Pete Rose, doesn't it? Like, yeah. Because I'll tell you right now, if you change the rules to the point where you said if you get caught betting on the league you're in and you're banned for life, do you realize how many people would not even attempt to do it anymore?
It would be insane.
So I understand gambling is huge. I understand that, like, for our industry in the sports media, like what would you say, 90% ish or more are represented by sports book sponsors and stuff now?
Yeah,
So part of it is an industry issue, I would say,
it is.
because and I forgot who said it
And,
the other day.
and part of it also too are these conferences and these leagues, specifically at the college level, that are now just caving into it. They were so against it for so long, and then a couple years ago, a bunch of them just caved in completely.
But I forgot who I was listening to. It was one of the media podcasts I listened to. But basically, they say you can't survive without taking the sportsbook money. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
you mean for like media entities?
right, like you can't survive unless you take the sportsbook money, because it's like they offer tons of money to be in the space. So part of it is a media issue that we have, where you go to every podcast, every major podcast in the sports space, and you see this podcast presented by DraftKings, or this podcast presented by FanDuel or MGM, or take your choice at this point. And that's giving too much empowerment to the athlete because the money is at their disposal to play.
Right.
So do I think they deserve the book? Yeah, I do think they deserve the book. Now, do I think they're going to get the whole 60-year sentence? Hell no, they're not.
No, no, they won't. They won't. My dad always says if you have a good lawyer, you can get reduced sentences on basically anything.
Well, you're missing another part of this too, which is this is an athlete situation, a professional athlete situation.
Right, which means power is directly. I mean, it's so obvious, right?
I could see this being, I don't know, like, so if they're saying it's 65, I could see them getting 2 to 5. I really could. If the lawyer is as good a negotiator as they are.
Oh yeah, I could see it too. I mean, that's not even a that's I don't even think that's even a debate.
I mean, I could also see them being like home, what do they call it? House arrest. I could see them doing that too, which would be stupid if they really did all this stuff and whatever. But I see them getting 2 to 5, and everyone's going to be pissed off because they freaking changed gambling in Major League Baseball forever. And corruption obviously doesn't matter to these guys whatsoever.
No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
And by the way, these guys are so dumb that they will do it until they get caught, which is what ended up happening.
Right.
So I don't know how this gets fixed. I don't know how you stop it, but it's going to be a problem until they put real rules in place to figure it out.
I think so too.
All right, let's move on. Let's
But one
Yeah.
one more thing before we talk about this. You don't believe though that all sports are manipulated though, right?
No, I don't think they're all manipulated, but what I would say is I think the NBA is one of the easiest ones to manipulate, because if you're going to put parlays or you're going to put over unders, the NBA guys, everyone talks to everybody in the NBA. Every guy knows everybody. So it makes it easier than any other sport to manipulate, because these guys are way more connected to these guys than any other sport.
Okay, well, last point before we move on, because I'm curious your thoughts. Why do you think Vegas gets these numbers for most of these spreads and over unders exactly right? Like you look at a spread and you say, "Oh, it doesn't look like it's going to hit," and then you watch the actual game and you look at the final score and you go, "God damn it, they were right again."
Yeah, that's a question I've had for years. Like, because we'll look at lines sometimes, like even for football forecasts, when we look at the lines.
Even for that Rams Titans game a couple weeks ago, we were all looking at it like, okay, like this over could potentially hit, and then it didn't hit by half a point. And I was looking at the score going, how in the world did Vegas know that?
Right. And I've had that question for years. Like, how do they? It probably has to do with like percentages and plays that they know, and also
Well, and also trends too, what that team has done.
trends, and then it also has to do with where the money's coming in
Right.
too. So I think we all forget that sometimes that money coming in moves the spread line. So I think we forget that also. But you're right. I've done that quite a few times this year. I'm like, damn it, Vegas got it right again. Like,
And
and
not only did they get it right almost down to the exact half point number.
which is scary because it makes you think someone's in on it. Like,
It's so scary.
now, I said this to Nick D the other day on Leftovers. I'll ask you the same thing.
Okay.
Where have you ever had, like, now that we've had all these gambling scandals, when you're watching close games now, do you ever think, oh, the fix is in? Like when a close play happens in a game?
No, but I'll look at a score after a big play or a controversial, two tap toe catch inbounds or whatever, and I'll look at the score and I'll go, "Oh my goodness, they somehow figured it out." But then, of course, we'll get to this in a second. But you would have been very surprised to see the disappointment on my face when I quickly realized that the Bears were going to lose by half a point on this. Oh my god!
I lost on that over. I thought that over was going to hit as soon as the Caleb ran in that touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to say, oh, the Giants are going to make a Stark run down the field to score. And I was like, shit. And then I'm like, and I don't know. Every once in a while now, I'm saying to myself, I jokingly say on the NBA streams now, like, oh, the fix is in. If like a controversial play happens, like right at the end of a game.
Right.
But I don't know anyway. It's too many betting scandals to keep up with.
I think so too.
All right.
Let's move on and talk about football now.
Yeah, let's talk about the poll, I guess the AP poll. Even though we are now officially into
The CFP.
the CFP.
We could even compare the CFP rankings to this week's AP poll if you want.
Yeah,
There's already 1 week of it out. So
let me pull up the. That's weird. It didn't come up, but let me pull that up, and I'm sure there's going to be some insane picks, right? Have you looked at it yet, or no?
briefly, we could go through it though.
Okay, so what are we up to? Week 12 now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like much changed at the top. So Ohio State is still 1, Indiana is still 2. I think Texas A&M was 3.
Yes,
Alabama was 4.
that's correct.
And Georgia 5. Ole Miss 6. Now I think they moved up 1, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ole Miss and Oregon's flip-flop spots, and people were apparently like stewing over that flip-flop. Apparently, I was reading.
Well, Oregon barely beat Iowa, so people were upset about that. They didn't win convincingly against Iowa. And Ole Miss played really well in their last game. They played really, really well.
Okay, so Texas Tech moved up to 8.
Yeah, because they beat BYU,
Notre Dame moved up to 9.
which was stupid. They beat a service academy school.
That's the fight that Nick D and I got into the other night
Oh, really?
because they're 7-2 and they're in the top 10. I'm trying to figure that one out still. And he was trying to argue with me that their 2 losses were against 2. I think one of them was Texas, right?
No, one of them was A&M, and the other one was
that's what I mean.
The other one was
A&M.
Miami. And
Which-
Miami, I don't even think is very good. So I don't even think the Miami loss holds as much weight as he says it does.
So, like him and I went back and forth on that. So, and then Texas rounds it out in the top 10.
Which I don't even think Texas is worthy of a top 10 ranking. But
You know what I think is absurd though? BYU 8-1 and they dropped 4 spots.
well, they lost their biggest game of the season. They had to win that game.
I just think that's absurd. Just like, so Notre Dame 7-2 gets a spot up for being an academy school, but BYU drops 4 spots.
Well, no, the reason is because the reason that they're going to claim is because Notre Dame has played a tougher strength of schedule than BYU has.
I hate this system. I wish they would throw the system away. I do.
You get more upset about this every week.
Because, and Nick didn't understand. Oh, I think we might have just gotten some breaking news during the show. I'll have to confirm that in a minute. But I'm tired of losses being ranked. I'm going to say this every week. What other sport do we rank? Oh, this loss was against a more difficult team, and this loss was against a shitty prep school. What other sport do we see this in?
Zero.
So why does it make sense for college football?
Because college football just has to be different.
My argument till the cows come home are going to be that everything should be conference until the 12-team playoff.
Meaning every game should be a conference game.
Correct. And I feel like it's a valid argument because that would take away, well, this loss means more than this loss.
Well, yeah, it would take away that, and it would also enhance the statement of, oh, you played everybody during the regular season.
Right. And Nick D's argument to me was that, well, then you don't get the outer conference major matchups and all that stuff. And I'm like, who cares about outer conference matchups? Oh, shit, it is real. Okay. What do you have to say about that while I confirm this?
Oh, sure. I mean, I think Indiana, Ohio State 1 and 2, you could go either way with that. A lot of people think Indiana should be number 1, but I just think Ohio State has been too superior, and Ohio State did beat Texas, so that is that going for them. I think Ohio State has 2 really good quality wins as opposed to Indiana's 1. I mean, let's be real. Really, Indiana's schedule again is one of those schedules that was kind of a waste, minus the Oregon win. So I think Ohio State and Indiana will be 1 and 2 all the way until the Big Ten championship, assuming neither team loses.
Okay. I mean, I'm still trying to learn the college football system, but I think Notre Dame should be lower. I really do. And you're basically teaching kids that losses are more important than some wins.
Right.
And he was also telling me the other night that he thinks certain teams should not even be at the bottom of the 25 teams.
I think he's right. There are a few that don't deserve to be there.
Like, I forgot. I think he was talking about like Virginia and Tennessee, those teams.
Well, Tennessee, this is what pisses me off as an Illinois fan. Tennessee has the same record as Illinois, and yet Tennessee is ranked, but Illinois isn't ranked.
That's a good point. And some of these schools have like James Madison in South Florida.
Yeah.
Making the 25. Like, who are those schools? Like, I've never even heard of them.
Well, James Madison used to be where Kurt Signetti coached at. And South Florida was the team that beat Florida earlier in the season. But that was before anybody knew where either of those teams, how they were going to fare. So I don't know. And I was out of the AP poll, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because they lost to Oregon, because they now have 3 losses. Because they were in the AP poll this past week.
But see, this is the problem, though. Like, and the other thing I proposed on this front, too, was if we're just going to judge based off of, like, oh, I had a major win, or, oh, I had a major loss, why don't we just throw the records out and just run a concurrent list of the top teams and just keep moving it up and down, and whoever is the top 12 teams make it at that point. Forget the records, because obviously the wins and the losses mean nothing, right?
Yeah, well, that would be too confusing, unfortunately, for the average person to understand. So they won't do that.
Well, no, I'm just saying make a top list. Because Nick D's telling me that someone with 2 losses could be higher than someone who's undefeated, which in my mind that makes no sense whatsoever. So if we're just going to do that, say Ohio State continues to win, you keep them at the top of the list, and if they by some reason lose a game and it's a major game, they just move them down the list because we're not obviously paying attention to wins and losses anymore. We're paying attention to which team they beat. At least that's what I'm getting at.
Well, if you're going to pay attention to which team they beat, then isn't that supposedly a good thing because you're looking at who they've actually played?
I get it, but if you're going to put 2-win teams above 1-loss and undefeated teams, that's where I have a problem with it. Because what's our motivation when we play on teams? It's to win games, right? That's the goal.
Right.
So to have a Texas and an Oklahoma be a 10-11 with two losses, and BYU with 1 loss, and Georgia Tech with 1 loss, like, it doesn't make sense. So basically you're telling me like I can lose games and I can be okay with that.
Yeah, because they also look at what conference those teams are in too. I mean, in the 2 teams you just alluded to, Oklahoma and Texas are in the SEC. And clearly the committee thinks that the SEC and the Big Ten are the 2 strongest conferences. So therefore all the other conferences are going to get gypped a little bit because they have more to prove.
So that's brand bias then.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And that's why I don't like the committee either, because the committee is not saying, "Oh, they won. They won."
Wait, you don't mean the committee. You mean the AP voters, because the committee actually makes the final decision as to who the 12 teams are going to be.
No. I don't like the committee either when they do certain things because they're more brand biased than the AP poll is at times. You don't think they want Notre Dame at the top of the list every single week?
Of course they do.
That's the point. That's what I'm getting at. Like, they're always so I can even let's say Ohio State lost a game. I don't think that's going to happen, but
it could. I mean, they've lost to Michigan for 4 years in a row, so
But I'm just saying the way they're playing now, they're not losing games. Let's say they lose a game, okay? You really think they're going to drop them like below the 3rd or 4th spot?
No.
So that's the point I'm trying to get at. That because Ohio State and Indiana and Texas A&M and Alabama and Georgia, the top 5 teams, they're not going to drop them below the 5th spot. They're just not, because they desperately need those teams to make TV ratings.
Right.
And to make money.
And they need 5 really competitive teams out of the 12 in order to make that possible.
Like a South Florida that's 7-2. Say that Ohio State went on and it won't happen, but they go on like a 3 or 4 game losing streak.
Well, okay, they'd be out then. They wouldn't get in.
You really think I believe that?
No, they wouldn't. Look at who they have left. They wouldn't make it. They're going to be favored in every single game that they play the rest of the season. If they lose, it's catastrophic.
Yeah, but I just don't believe that, because I think that they're desperately going to find a way to put Ohio State in because they need Ohio State.
Yeah, but they're not going to put a 3 or 4 loss Ohio State in. I don't see the 3-loss team has never made the CFP before.
You don't think though that the CFP and the committee would be desperate enough to say I need Ohio State in?
Depends on who else is there.
I mean, that's fair, but I'm just saying, like, the top 5 or 6 teams.
I can tell you this: if they somehow finish 10-2, which won't happen, they'll get in. If they finish 11-1, they'll get in for sure. And if they finish undefeated, they're definitely in.
Well, they finish undefeated. They're the top team in college football. But I don't know. I just get annoyed by the systems because it's no longer about, well, I had the most wins, so I got in. It's more about, well, I lost to a significant team, so my loss counts more than your wins. Our brains are not trained that way as athletes.
No, they're not.
So I'll leave it at that point because we got some other stuff we got to do. But there was some breaking news that just happened, which we do need to discuss. Brian Daboll just got fired as the Giants coach, and Adam Schefter has confirmed it.
Really?
Yes. So usually we do the football recap first. This is massive news. Just broke. What's your first thought seeing this?
I'm not surprised. I mean, he's taken them to the playoffs, once in 4 years or something?
Something like that, yeah.
And I mean, they just can't seem to figure it. They can't figure it out. He's been given way too many chances, I think. I honestly think you could have fired him at the end of last season.
I was calling for his firing last year, too. I mean, but the problem is I think he got lucky with this ownership. And
also, it doesn't help that you have a 10-point lead in the second half.
Four times this year that happened.
Yeah, I think that's a fireable offense. I mean, that's four games where if you hold on, your season is different, and you're a 7-3, 8-2 football team through the first 10 weeks of the year.
That's 4 2-possession games, too.
Yeah,
that people don't realize. First of all, Daboll's done some pretty controversial things too on the sideline. Like if you remember the blue tent incident.
Yeah, I do.
Where he got fined for, I think he went in the tent, which I don't think any personnel is allowed in the tent.
That was probably a strike 2 offense in their mind, I would think. That was probably
he got fined significantly for that, if I'm not mistaken.
I just mean from a mental standpoint, they were really thinking, okay, that's his second really bad blunder. If he does one more thing, then I don't know.
I mean, and also just the constant missed field goals, going for 2 when unnecessary in certain games. I don't know.
His clock management, especially
atrocious.
Sunday was, even though I'm happy my team won, his clock management was terrible.
It was atrocious. His clock management.
They could have put the Bears away, and they couldn't do it.
I mean, even though I think they scored too quickly there on that touchdown.
Oh, the Giants, did you mean?
No, Caleb, running that ball in with a minute and, what was it, a minute 25 left, I think?
Yeah.
And I think the Giants had two timeouts left.
Yeah.
I remember watching on the playback stream, I said, oh shit, they scored too quick. But obviously you're not going to give up on a touchdown, obviously, but I remember saying, I thought the Giants were going to drive down the field and at least put themselves in a position to win. And obviously, you had the injury issues, that now a concussion with Jackson Dart, which, by the way, Jackson Dart is now turning into Tua, ending up with all these concussion protocols that they have to keep putting him in.
Yeah, and it's only his rookie year. I mean, that's bad.
I also think he's a little too rambunctious with the football, that he's willing to take off and run with it a lot. And he's going to get hit more if he continues to do that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Since we're talking, let's go into it, and we'll start with that game first. I think that was just, like you said, bad fundamentals by Brian Daboll and the Giants.
And on the other side of the Bears, I think it goes to show that Caleb Williams is figuring this 2-minute drive thing out pretty well.
I got to give him a lot of credit because
it's almost like every game, as you know, the Bears have won 6 of 7, and pretty much in every single game that they played this year, minus Detroit, they've been in the game every single game.
That's a good point. And Caleb's finally escaping the pocket. I finally saw it in this game, that he was willing to kind of run upfield to avoid
and he's getting a lot more guys involved, if you haven't noticed, too.
I also like DeAndre Swift. I think he's good for that system. I think.
I also think the Bears, and now this isn't meant to be, the Bears are lucky or anything, but they're also in the benefit of a division that's very, very, very close. So obviously, with them being competitive and winning the games they're supposed to, it makes the division even more interesting. So, I mean,
Now, let me be clear. Like, obviously, I'm not making excuses for the Giants. They have had all those injuries. Like, they didn't have Scattaboo, they didn't have Neighbors. But if it wasn't for Dart, that wouldn't have been a game at all. For
right,
Dart with the 2 rushing touchdowns out of Dart.
right, they would have blown the Giants out.
So, but Daboll had to go just because he's going to get Jackson Dart killed out there.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand it. Like, I don't know. The Giants, New York football is up Schitt's Creek without a paddle right now. But we'll see what happens. I don't know who they're gonna hire or who they're gonna bring in there, or who's even gonna want to be a head coach there.
I don't know. I mean, they haven't been, that they haven't been the same organization in over a decade.
Well, since what's his name was there?
Tom Coughlin.
Thank you, Tom Coughlin, who took them to 2 Super Bowls and won.
And won both of them against the same team and the same quarterback.
Which is insane because no one else has had a decent record against Brady at all.
No.
All right. We'll flip back here. So Thursday Night Football, obviously both of us got that one wrong. Poorly wrong. Broncos still won. Resiliency matters. The Raiders are just a terrible team. Really bad. You and I said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been terrible. We gotta. We have to go through this now because pull up the Raiders' upcoming schedule. I'm curious if there's any other games on the schedule that Vegas could possibly win because that may have been their closest final win of the season.
Okay, so I have it. So their next game is actually they're playing Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football at home versus Dallas.
Okay.
That game's going to be a shit show on both sides.
I think so, too. That's a game that the Raiders find a way to lose on the stupidest.
Yes, exactly. I agree.
You know that.
I agree.
They're going to lose on the stupidest ending possible.
And then probably one of the worst games of the year at home for Cleveland.
Which they actually might win because the Browns showed they couldn't even beat the Jets.
We'll get there in a minute. But then they go on the road to the Chargers. I think that's going to be a blowout. I think
so too. So 1-1 so far. Okay. Or now, yeah.
1-2.
1-2. Oh, yeah.
Then they play Denver. I don't think they don't have. Oh, wait. They play Denver again?
Well, yeah, because the first game was in Denver. This one's in Vegas.
I still don't think they're going to win. Then they go on the road to Philly. That's going to be a blowout, probably.
When's that game?
December 14th.
Yeah, they're gonna get trounced, I think.
Then they go. Well, so it's on the road to Philly. Then it's on the road to Houston.
Oh, ouch!
Yeah.
And I called it. Houston beat the Jaguars. We were right. We were all in the
you and I took that. I think we were the only two that took that, actually.
Yeah.
And then obviously because the last two games of every schedule are TBD time wise, but they play versus the Giants, which that's going to be a disgusting, like vile, like there might be no points scored in that game.
No
at
points. Oh shit.
And then they play Kansas City, but obviously Kansas City will be clinched by week 18 by far.
Yeah, so they'll rest their starters.
But I think they'll still lose that game somehow.
Right.
So I don't know. How many wins did we count in there? One?
One win.
So that means they're going to be 3-14?
Yeah. I mean, Nick, at that point, is it enough to fire Pete Carroll after one season?
Yes. 3-4. You don't recover from 3-14.
No, you can't. Rich Tight said it best. A change has to be made.
Exactly. Okay. Obviously, the Berlin game. Colts.
Which again, the Colts screwed me as they did everybody else.
You know what I'm pissed about? And I wish they would change this rule in the NFL.
Okay.
They should be forced to kick the extra point.
In what? You mean 2-point conversion shouldn't be allowed at all?
No. I'm saying on the winning touchdown.
You should have to kick the extra point.
Yes.
I think it's an integrity of the game thing, don't you?
You mean that they should or they shouldn't?
That they should.
We all lost our play because of that. Do you remember what the line was?
Yeah.
6.5.
6.5. They only won by 5 or 6.
6.
So we would have won.
I think it's BS. You know how they're saying they're having issues with gambling scandals and stuff.
Imagine how many people lost a half a point the other day because of that.
That's the point. And I remember saying to myself, "Oh, we could have won that." I'm like, "Oh no, they don't." On overtime, they don't kick. If that was the first possession, they would have had to kick it.
But it was not.
Right. It was the last licks for the Colts. But I think that's BS that they don't kick it.
Well, to be fair, the game should have never gone to overtime to begin with.
Well, the Colts had to go on a huge drive, if I remember correctly, right, to get a field goal?
No, I'm just saying they could have controlled the game earlier in the game to not put themselves in that position.
I agree, totally. But by the way, 8-2 Colts now, which no one expected at all.
What are they, the number 1 seed in the AFC right now?
Probably, yeah. They're the best record.
Do you believe Seattle would get a bye week if the season ended today in the NFC? That's insane.
And by the way, can we just say the Falcons are a complete embarrassment?
Well, you don't know what team you're going to get every week with those guys.
But it's still a complete embarrassment. Remember, everyone said at the beginning of the year that everyone thought the Falcons were going to be like this juggernaut of a team.
I was not one of them.
I wasn't either. But they had Penix. They had Drake London. They have Bijan Robinson, who's probably the best running back, even though Jonathan Taylor might want a word on that.
I mean, shoot, in my Yahoo week this past week against Atlanta, guess how many points he got me in my Yahoo week? 50 points.
See, originally when I saw this game on the schedule, I said, "Oh, this is a shitty game going to Berlin." And then I remembered, this is Bijan Robinson versus Jonathan Taylor. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I'm surprised we haven't seen this game more.
It's a good game. It's a very good game.
But the
in
Falcons,
terms of just entertainment value, was a good game.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm looking in the box score really quick here. And by the way, we are way over time. So I'm looking for all purpose. Okay, so Jonathan Taylor had 244 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. Insane.
Yeah, that's impressive. Very impressive.
And then, first of all, he deserves every MVP vote right now.
I think so too.
Because if it's not for Jonathan Taylor, they don't win the game in Berlin.
Right.
At all. And what is this? Is like 3rd or 4th 3-touchdown game this year?
3.
3? Still impressive, one way or the other.
I mean, shoot, I don't think the Colts would be half as good if he wasn't a workhorse on offense. I mean, he's literally carrying that offense right now.
Well, isn't that what MVP is? Most valuable player? Yeah. I mean, that team is... I don't know if this team has half their wins.
And also, Alec Pierce keeps making acrobatic catches. He's playing really well right now. And the quarterback situation could not be going any better for them at the moment.
I mean, Daniel Jones finally playing well, too.
Well, it seems like he's in the right system.
Now...
And I just feel bad... the biggest loser in this whole scenario, and I'm sure you agree, is Anthony Richardson, because oh my goodness. Remember how people were so excited that like Anthony Richardson was going to be the future of the Colts, and it just didn't happen?
I think he's going to get cut at some point. I think. Because they tried to put him out there at the trade deadline, and no one wanted him. He's got no value.
It's not even really his fault, though, is it?
I mean, he couldn't keep himself healthy.
Right.
And he made that stupid comment. Do you remember? What was it last year? Where where
yeah.
he took himself out of the game. Because
That's right. And then he made excuses afterward.
and he's like, I'm tired. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, you're a professional athlete for crying out loud. Like, go be tired when the season's over. Like, but I don't know. The Falcons are in a tough spot. Colts are pretty much on automatic playoff bound now, pretty much at 8-2.
Yeah, barring they don't collapse and lose 5 in a row.
Well, all right. I'll look at this very quickly, and then we got to move on. But
no, we do. We've been way over time.
So their next game, this is going to be a good one at Kansas City.
Is it a night game or a national TV game?
No, stupidly they made it a 1 p.m. game. Like that would have been a great 4:25 game.
That's what I was thinking too. Hey, where's the game at though?
At Kansas City. It's gonna be a good test.
I was gonna say if it was at Indy, I would hammer the Colts, but now I'm not sure.
That would be a great litmus test for the Colts if they can go into Kansas City and win. I mean,
I know.
All right, I'll read off some of the others. So at home for Houston, at Jacksonville, at Seattle. That's going to be a hell of a game.
That could be a Super Bowl preview, low key.
Yeah, it could. Then home for San Francisco, home for Jacksonville, and finish on the road in Houston. Their schedule is not that tough.
That's two possible losses in that final stretch, but otherwise they should win the rest of them.
They're going to win. They're going to win double-digit games
in Kansas City.
They're going to win. They're going to win like 11 games, 10, 11 games this year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, all right,
it's a great turnaround.
All right, quickly, Bills, Dolphins. Holy crap!
Yeah, geez. I mean, what that game tells me is the Patriots are winning the AFC East.
Oh, you and I were on the same page of that one. That the Patriots, I think, are not going to be stopped in their division.
I don't think so either.
And Drake May deserves MVP votes too.
He does.
And
Drake May, Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones, and there's a few others.
Yeah, but those three for sure at the top.
If Caleb Williams keeps playing well, he might find himself in that conversation too. You never know.
He might find himself in the conversation. I don't know if he'll win, but
he might win comeback player of the year from last year though.
That's a good point.
Totally had a resurgence.
But yeah, this game was an embarrassment. Josh Allen looked off the whole. He wasn't escaping the pocket. He was getting sacked by the Miami Dolphins of all teams. Some people were saying does this save his job? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. It's one game against a very okay Bills team. Calm down, guys. They're very okay.
No one expected the Bills to have 3 losses though already.
No,
but it's not really much there. Ravens, Vikings.
Good game, bad clock management by Minnesota at the end of the game.
Holy shit, yes.
and McCarthy missing wide open targets at the end of the game too.
And I got to give the Ravens
to get them into field goal range. You couldn't even do that.
I got to give the Ravens credit because defensively, for the first time in a while, that they were able to deflect some perfect passes thrown by JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, Baltimore, I think is starting to gel a little bit now that Lamar's healthy. I think they're starting to get out of the gutter, which is good to see.
So we'll see how Baltimore. They're now 4-5. They still have quite a road to climb,
and they still have to play Pittsburgh, but
Pittsburgh didn't look good either. But we'll get to that in a second.
A 5-3 game at one point, which is a baseball score.
Yeah, that was very odd. Jets somehow beat the Browns. Why? You trade everybody away. You're trying to basically tank the season away, and you beat the Browns. What does that say about the Browns?
Hey, as they say, a win is a win is a win is a win.
Yeah, but what does that say about the Browns, though?
They're probably the most dysfunctional organization in professional sports. They really probably are.
I have no words. I saw on social media, people were demanding Shadur Sanders into the game.
You should play.
The Browns should just stop with the shackles and just give him the time to play. What do you have to lose at this point? You're 2-7.
Nothing.
That's all I can really say about that game. Patriots Bucks, another good game.
Very good game. Unfortunately, though, Baker didn't have his moment again, like I thought he would.
It was close. I thought he was
Very
going to make his
close.
way down, and then I think he threw a interception. I think.
Yep. But man, New England go on the road and beat Tampa Bay, who's in the king of the fourth quarter comeback. Oh my goodness!
By the way, so they're 8-2. The number that stands out: 5-0 on the road,
and undefeated against the NFC South. 4-0. They beat all the NFC South teams.
But 10 games in, and there's a team that's 5-0 on the road. How often do you hear that?
Not very often. I mean, Nick, I would be confident to say that if the Patriots played Detroit in Detroit next week, that New England probably wins.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I just think New England's playing really good football.
Really? Well, besides the Jets game, when's their next road game though?
For the Pats?
Yeah, because they play the Jets at home.
Actually, it's the week after on the road facing the Bengals.
Oh, they'll win that game. Well,
especially with Burrow being out anyway. But the Bengals are such a shit show on their own right now, currently. And also, I can't remember the guy's name. The one who demanded the trade is also injured.
Oh, right. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
The defensive player. I can't remember his name.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
See, now it's bothering me. But, oops. I don't know who. Why am I forgetting the name? Oh, Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, Trey Hendrickson. Right. Yeah.
I think he's had back issues, if I'm not mistaken.
He has. And honestly, I think this is a little bit of bias attached. Trey Hendrickson, a healthy version of him on the Bears would be unbelievable.
He'd be great on any team, like as a healthy defensive player, because you don't see guys like him anymore. That's
true.
Quickly, Saints Panthers. There's really not much to write home there.
Panthers came back down to Earthville 1 week after beating Green Bay.
By the way, I think most of us had the under on this game. I didn't expect it to be this low.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about that one. There's not much else there. Texans Jaguars, what a comeback by the Texans.
Crazy comeback. And
a cover. And a cover.
But my goodness, though, Trevor Lawrence gets a first down on a 26-yard scramble and can't do anything on the final 3 plays of the game.
To get sacked and basically run the clock out too.
I know. Big win for the Texans. It might have been a season saver. You never know.
By the way, 26 unanswered points in the fourth quarter.
Didn't we say this felt like a Texans outright win, and it was?
Yeah. I was like, well, the add insult to injury when you cause the fumble and then just running it back for no reason to get the extra touchdown to add insult to injury there.
That was awesome.
I was like, no, don't do that. I thought there was going to be like a fight that was going to break out after that.
That would have been crazy.
Seahawks Cardinals. I can't remember. I had the over. I don't know if did you have the over on that game?
I did. We both won.
Which is crazy because we're watching that game on stream, and all of a sudden it's like 21-0 in the first quarter.
And you're like, yeah.
I was like, holy shit! Like I knew this was gonna have a lot of points scored in it, but like, was it 21-0 or 28-0? The first quarter ended.
I think it was 28-0, but you could double verify.
I was like, shit! Like, I've never seen that. It was 21-0. Okay, but still. And then to score another 17 and for it to end 38-7 in the first half was like, did the Cardinals forget that they had a football game to show up to?
I think they might have, Nick, because they did not play like they were capable of playing. I thought they were going to do the Cardinals thing and make it interesting, like they have the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. And then obviously the 2 games in the late window, Rams 49ers. We're forgetting a guy in the MVP discussion, by the way.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, which, by the way, Michael had said on forecast, that might come to fruition.
Sweet revenge for the Rams after losing to the Niners at home a couple weeks ago. Huge revenge win.
I mean, holy cow, man. Like, the Rams are going to be tough, like really tough.
They're
Uh,
good. They're a good football team.
Another 4 touchdowns for Matthew Stafford. Um, I feel bad for Mac Jones in this situation.
Looked like he was going to lead San Francisco back, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah. Um,
When is Purdy going to be back?
no idea. Still on the question mark trail, partially.
Oh my goodness! Their season could be over if he's not back soon.
They're 6-4 currently. Rams are 7-2, 4-1 on the road. Also, so another big time road team. So
Who's their only road loss to? Is it Detroit?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think it was Detroit.
Okay.
Speaking of Detroit Lions, Commanders, we all called this one.
Well, I had it as my lock. I'm just
So did I.
Yeah.
So did I. And I thought Johnny was going to jinx it because his record's been so bad the last week or two.
Well,
But
and Tom was off to a rough start at one point.
yeah, we were all off to rough starts. But is this really a surprise that the Lions won by 22? No.
No.
The Washington is such a mess right now that I could see Dan Quinn getting fired from there. I really do.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think he's a better coordinator than he is a coach. Let's be honest here.
Well, wasn't it true they were one play away from the Super Bowl last year?
They were.
And you go from one play away from the Super Bowl to complete dumpster.
Well, one play away from the Super Bowl, if you remember, that was a horrendously bad play design.
Yes, absolutely. And then obviously Steelers, Chargers. I thought the Steelers were going to play so much better.
Big letdown spot.
Aaron Rodgers did not look good in that game.
No, he did. I think the biggest winner were all the celebrities that showed up to the game, though, because there were tons of them.
Snoop, I think, was there too.
Snoop Dogg was at the game. Mookie Betts was at the game. There were a bunch of big celebrities at the game.
So, I mean, am I surprised the Chargers won? No. Do I trust the Chargers, though?
No.
I absolutely do not at all.
No.
All right. Let's quickly try and get through some of these topics. What would you like to hit on here?
So I'm just curious, Nick. So the big conundrum here is there are 4 Big Ten teams alive for the college football playoff. Those would be in no particular order: USC, Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. If you were to guess, do you think the winner of the Oregon versus USC game in a couple of weeks is going to be the eliminator game for whoever loses?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a huge game.
I think so too. And do you think, as do a lot of people, do you think Ohio State and Indiana are on a collision course to remain undefeated and play in the conference championship game?
Oh yeah, not even a question. Indiana's having a great year. Ohio State is Ohio State. I don't need to say much about Ohio State. They're just going to win.
I think so too.
So I think that's collision course, and I think I'm assuming that game will probably be either NBC or Big Noon Kickoff. Depending.
No. So when you get to conference championship week, the Big Ten championship is always the first Saturday night in December.
Oh, okay. So what network do you think that game would be on? Because that's gonna be a huge game.
It's a CBS game, I'm pretty sure.
It's such a letdown. I thought maybe they put that like on an NBC or something.
No, CBS has the rights for the game the next few years.
Ugh.
So, and then just curious briefly on the SEC, because I believe in this theory. Do you think the committee is going to try to get in as many SEC teams as they can?
Oh yeah, because of brand bias. Absolutely.
Because right now the rumor is that they're going to try to get at least 5 teams in, and I could see it happening, which would be so stupid.
This is why I hate the committee system, because records usually tell you the story in every sport. But when you have a committee involved, that's when brand bias happens. Hello, Notre Dame at the top.
I just threw this topic in there to get you riled up, right?
Yeah, I know. But is it wrong though to say that Notre Dame with a 2-loss, like they're going to throw first of all, and this is hyperbole more than anything, but Notre Dame could have 5 losses, and they're going to find a way to put Notre Dame in. I'm just going to tell you that now.
I don't know about that. I would say if they have 3 losses, they would find a way, but 5, I think, is stretching it a little bit.
My point is that they're desperate for Notre Dame to be in, knowing because of the massive deals that they have with NBC, and
it's a huge brand. Yeah, absolutely.
it's a shitload of money. Like, don't they make like $4 to $5 million a year?
Mm-hmm. Just on NBC alone.
I also made the argument that Notre Dame should not be independent.
A lot of people agree with you, Nick.
Like, independent teams, I feel like that.
As do I. I'm one of the people that believes Notre Dame should join the Big Ten.
I think
that's what I think.
I think being independent is a BS way around the rules, in my book. Like, oh, I don't have to be part of a conference, so I can make my schedule however I want, or I can pick the teams I want to play, or this, that, and the other.
It's not a good look. Trust me, as someone who's not a Notre Dame fan, I'm totally with you on the independent thing being a huge burden on them that I don't think makes them look good.
Because how is their schedule figured out? Because
they literally can pick whoever they want to play.
See, that's BS. That's BS because they can control however the schedule they want.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way.
I know. I agree with you.
So, but I think you're right on each part. Like, they're going to try to get to be honest, if they could have 12 SEC teams, they would.
And instead of calling it the college football playoff, you call it the SEC playoff?
Yeah. No, because, and I think Nick D said this before. I think the SEC is the strongest conference out of everybody.
He's right. But I'm going to counter him and say the last 2 national champions were like a word.
Or Big Ten.
We're Big Ten teams. Yeah.
So, but from a branding perspective, the SEC is the biggest conference.
Yes. As someone who has a lot of Big Ten bias in his heart, that I can admit.
And I know that even without even seeing most of the football, I can name almost every team in the SEC conference by seeing them.
Of course you can.
So
it's brand association. That's all it is.
Right. And can you imagine, and this is going to sound conspiracy theory a little, but imagine you put Notre Dame in the SEC.
Okay.
Think about power brand.
Oh, it would be the dumbest thing ever because then they would try to get as many SEC teams in as they possibly could.
You wouldn't see a Big Ten team or any other
SEC team. No way.
It would become the Power 1 instead of the Power 4. Like,
literally, some people believe it's the Power 2 right now with how much the Big Ten has expanded. A lot of people believe that.
And if you did my theory of playing within conference through the whole season,
you wouldn't have that problem.
The conferences would matter solely because
correct.
Because then you could say, okay, I have an SEC schedule, an ACC schedule, a Big Ten schedule. Who am I leaving out? Pac-12.
A Big 12 schedule and a Pac-12.
Yeah. That way, everybody gets their representation. Also, you have networks for everybody that's involved. Those networks get to be put on display more often at the same time. So I don't see... this seems like a no-brainer to play conference. And then once you get to the CFP, you take like the best, what is it? 3. So there's 5 conferences.
Yeah.
So the math doesn't really work 100%, but maybe
that's why they can only have one group of 5 team in and stuff like that.
But I was going to say maybe they take 5 conferences, 2 teams each, and then maybe you take the 2 best records after the 5 that represent each conference or something.
That's not a bad solution. I actually like that.
Like almost like the wild card scenarios, like in the NFL or in Major League Baseball, where the 4 or 5 divisions get their records, and then you have the 2 best records afterwards.
Last thing, that's a possible proposal in future years in the Big Ten, where instead of playing rivalry weekend the last week, which is in Michigan, Ohio State and stuff, you take the 4 best teams in the Big Ten, you put them in 2 separate play-in games, and the winners of the play-in games go to the CFP and the losers are out.
That's not a bad theory, too.
That's what some people have proposed, which I actually would be in full support of.
Yeah, and
a playing weekend.
the last thing I'll say, because we're rolling today with this episode. Um, I wish they would do away with these dumb outer conference agreements that teams make to play. So, what was the ones I heard?
Well, Ohio State played Texas this year. That was Big Ten SEC.
No, but I'm talking about where the like two big teams like make a pact that they're going to play for the next 2 or 3 years.
Oh well, Auburn and Notre Dame just did it. They're going to start it in like a year and a half or
And what
something.
was the other one? Didn't USC have one recently that they just agreed to?
I don't remember that, but USC just came off of playing LSU 2 years in a row.
I hate it. I wish they would do away with these dumb outer conference pacts or agreements. What is that accomplishing by doing that?
It's two big money programs playing each other. It's more revenue for both schools. It gets people out. It gets people excited for the season because it's early in the year. So they want to get they want to give people something to watch.
Okay, so tell me in theory how an outer conference win or an outer conference loss counts record wise. Because I don't know how that works.
How does it count? Well, it shows that they're playing the winner or the loser. They're playing against one of the best teams in the country.
No, I get it. But so say you lose to an outer conference, like, does that mean the committee's going to drop you like 5 or 6 spots?
No. It just no. But when they look at resume, they'll say, "Oh, they played a really good team in said conference." That carries a little bit more weight as opposed to a team who just played a non-conference schedule against far lesser opponents.
By the way, and not because you said it, you know that's dopey sounding when they say you have to look at the resume of your wins and losses.
I know, but it is a
I hear
factor
that
they do use though.
I hear that on college game day. I hear that on big noon kickoff, and it like makes my head spin when they say, "Well, their resume, they have losses against blah 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 blah, and this loss means this." Am I applying for a job or am I trying to get into the college football playoffs? Which one is it? Like, losses are losses. That's how they should count.
What was it?
I don't know. All right, we're gonna have to skip through a few topics here. Um, we'll come back to second half NFL predictions next episode.
That's
Uh,
fine.
so let's get to UFC 322 so we can get through the end of the show.
Sure.
So, Makhachev versus JDM in my neck of the woods here
Yeah.
at MSG, right? So,
So Madison Square Garden, Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight. He vacated his lightweight title a couple months ago and is now trying to become a guy who's now won two belts. Should he beat JDM, two belts in two different divisions. So it'd be very interesting. JDM started his career 0-2. Nick, he's now won 18 fights in a row since 2016. And Makhachev is on a 15 fight win streak. So somebody's win streak has to go Saturday night a little after midnight Eastern. Should be interesting.
yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this a little bit too. I already told you I'll be much happier when I can watch everything on Paramount because I have that. But um, this is going to be a good fight. How many times have they fought in the past?
They've never fought before.
Oh, really? I
They've
thought
never
they
fought
had.
each other before. Nope. This is not a rematch. The co-main of yeah. Neither of the main nor the co-main is a rematch. So it's as fresh of a fight as you could get. So
I guess we'll see how that plays out. Is there anything noticeable on the rest of the card or
yeah,
no?
I mean the co-main event, which I didn't have time to fit in the banner, but it's Weili Zhang versus Valentina Shevchenko,
Oh, yeah.
and it's a
Okay.
huge fight because it's for the UFC flyweight championship. It's a super fight that fans have wanted to see for a while because Valentina's been the best at 125 for several years, and Weili's been the best at 35. So she decided to step aside, vacate her strawweight title. That's why Mackenzie Dern won it a couple weeks ago. So now whoever wins that fight is probably going to be either the number 2 or number 1 best female fighter in the world. So that fight should be interesting. There's a couple other fights in the card. One more fight I wanted to highlight, though, in the welterweight division, Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Leon Edwards is the former UFC welterweight champion. That should be very interesting, and the whole card is a stacked card, so it'd be fun. I'm gonna preview it more in the coming days on MMA Outsiders and stuff. But overall, it's a good card, and it should be a very, very fun pay-per-view overall. It's one of the bigger UFC events that they do every year at Madison Square Garden, and I don't see how this one doesn't deliver. So should be fun.
Yeah, this is going to be a good card. I'll try to tune in. I should. It's in my state, for crying out loud. I should watch it.
Yeah, you should. And my colleague at the network, Jack Gold, should be at this fight. So I'm sure he's gonna have a blast if he decides to go. So,
well, yeah, we'll see what happens. But we're going to move on to the end of the show. But before we do, we'll take a short break. And when we come back, I actually have some more NFL breaking news to share with you.
You have more NFL breaking news. Wow. Okay.
So stay tuned. We'll be back in a second.
Hey fans, Novig is here to change the way you play. Available in 35 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and New York, Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market, and it's 10 times more profitable than traditional sports books because there's no house edge. Instead, you're betting directly against other sports fans just like yourself. Novig is also the only free exchange, which means you keep every dollar you win, whether you're putting plays down on the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, college sports, or even UFC and tennis. Novig gives you the power to pick the best odds, or better yet, set your own. Sign up today with the code ETB Network, and you'll get 1,000 Novig coins plus $5 in Novig cash, and special bonus offers like spending $5 and getting $50 back. Novig, where fans play smarter. You must be 21 years or older to play. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Empty the Bench is presented by Playback. Watching sports is more fun with others, but we spend too much of our time watching alone. Playback is a virtual space where communities can stream live sports together with everyone perfectly synced up. Creators can hop on stage, deliver their own play-by-play analysis and commentary, and invite viewers up for Q&A. Playback makes watching sports fully interactive and a social experience. From playing fantasy sports, repping your favorite players and teams, and watching with the commentators and communities you care about. Win or lose, sports are best enjoyed together. Join our community by going to playback.tv/ETB Network to find out more, including our live stream schedule. And now back to the show. We're back. We have some more NFL breaking news before we get to our sports odds in Thursday Night Football. So, according to Jay Glazer, last week Joe Burrow told him...
Oh, wait, is way meant to be spelled like that?
Yes, it's his tweet. Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Last week, Joe Burrow told me he's returning way sooner than was expected and gave me the timeline of, quote, Thanksgiving-ish. And now we'll start practicing on a limited basis.
The Bengals are not making the playoffs, even with him coming back. They've already dug themselves too big of a hole. It's good to see that he's going to be healthy to play, but I'm sorry, I don't. The only positive for the Bengals is that they'll be competitive in the second half of the year, but it won't mean much in regards to them even sniffing a wild card berth. It won't happen.
To be honest, I think this is beyond pointless for him to come back at this point.
I think so too. Good on Jake Glazer for getting the scoop, though.
Yeah, it popped up as I was looking at social media, and I'm like, oh my god, like two big NFL news items right during the show. I don't think this matters.
No,
I don't know what their record is currently as we speak because they didn't play last week.
Is it 3-5 or 3-6?
I'm looking it up right now. They are 3-6. Joe Burrow's not going to make as slightest hell of a difference right now.
No, they'll already be buried in the playoff eliminator category by the time he comes back.
Yeah, so I don't think that's a big deal. But all right, let's move on. ETB Sports Odds presented by Novig. Go check them out over there. Use promo code ETB Network. Spend $5 to get $50 in bonus plays. Okay. Thursday Night Football, Week 11, Patriots minus 12.5 point favorite versus the Jets, over under 43.5. You and I had bad luck on the last Thursday Night Football game last week.
Hopefully we don't have bad luck this week. I mean, it's an AFC East game. The Jets are coming off of a win, but the win doesn't mean much because of who they beat. New England is riding high off of its biggest win of the year at Tampa Bay. If the Patriots can't cover this number by themselves, we might have a problem.
The number is so high. It is so high. Right? Would you agree that the number is a big number?
Yeah, but would you agree, though, that the over might be the safer play here? Because I could see the Patriots putting up points.
No, that I'm saying I think the minus 12.5 is a high.
Yeah,
number.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think the over is a more conservative play?
I think the over is a more conservative play, but will the Jets put up enough points to match whatever the Patriots put up to get to 44 points?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I could see this game being, I don't know, 21-7.
Yeah, which would mean the under would hit.
I mean, that would be a cover, right?
Yeah, because it would be a 14.
Yeah. I could see this being 21-7. I really do. Like, you know what? I might go against my normal thing here. I might take the Patriots to cover the number, like instead of taking the over under here, because I don't know if I can trust the Jets to score enough points.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be with you here. I like New England. They're at home, which is a huge benefit. If the game was in East Rutherford, I'd be a little bit more skeptical just because the Jets seem to play the Patriots tougher at home. But with it being in Foxborough, I think New England should be able to put up some points. And I'm not going to go – I obviously won't go double, so I'm going to say that New England covers the number and wins the game. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to win. It's just a matter of how much and if they put up the offense.
Yeah, and we've had bad luck the last few weeks, and we're due for a win because we were on a 2-game winning streak for a bit a couple weeks ago, and then it died quickly. So,
but like I said, I could see this being 21-7, because the Patriots will score, and then they'll say, "All right, we don't need to keep pounding the pavement a million times."
No, I don't think so, and I think this is one of those games where Drake May could get pulled for rust late in the game.
So we'll see, but that'll do it for this episode of Empty the Bench, episode 295. He's Zain Bando. I'm Nick Morgasen. Make sure you follow us on social media at ETB Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you follow our YouTube channel and subscribe, youtube.com/ETB Network, close to 1,050 subscribers. Help us reach our YouTube hours goal. We're getting closer to 3,000 and eventually 4,000. That's going to help us do two different things that we're working towards. Listen to Empty the Bench wherever you get your podcasts. You can't watch on the video side. So we're on all audio podcasting distribution platforms. And Empty the Bench is presented by Playback, playback.tv/ETB Network. If you are watching this episode currently while it is airing, we will be getting ready to do Playback's big day while this is airing. So if you want to come watch us over there too, while you have us in the background, come watch over there. Huge day for Playback. They're doing a bunch of streams to help build the numbers, and there's going to be some giveaways and some other stuff. So come join us while you're watching our episode for Playback's big day as well. And your show as well has a lot coming up in the pipeline.
Yeah, so episode 67 is going to be a big one. It might be one of the biggest in the very short history of Bando's breakdowns. Stay tuned for the usual show that you guys always get, but stay tuned especially for the end of the show with an exclusive interview with Michael Chandler, courtesy of Form Energy. We talk about a lot of good stuff, and that all stuff that I can say now that the announcement is officially out. He promotes the new flavor of Form Energy, which I actually have a bunch of different cans of that I still have to try. I'm looking forward to that. He also talks about whether or not he's fighting Conor McGregor at the White House, or if there's been any discussions about that potential fight. We also go into his RAF wrestling match with Chad Mendes at the end of the month, which is going to be in Chicago. I will be in attendance for that, and so much more. So not only watch the episode, but stay tuned for the end, because Michael Chandler gives me some insightful stuff, and I'm sure it'll be an interview that you guys will enjoy. So stay tuned for that. That'll be Friday as usual, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, over here on ETB's YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcast. So,
And I'm not going to give away fully what we discussed because there's some other stuff we're working on for your show too. But let's just say there could be a flood of interviews coming very soon. Possibly.
Yeah, which I'm very much looking forward to. So stay tuned for all that. Keep it locked into socials. You'll know when all those are, and it should be a fun next few weeks. I'll say that.
And by the way, thanks to Brian Battle for sharing your stuff on social media.
Yeah, shout out to Brian Battle for that. And then, of course, shout out to Gable Stevenson for his time as well. Those two guys were great. And I'm excited to see how much more active both of them will be. Those were two fun interviews to do. So if you haven't checked those out, please be sure to go back into the channel and check those out. It's a relatively newer video that was just put out. A Bando's Breakdowns exclusive, if you will. That was this past week, but still very, very fresh news, very relevant. So go check it out if you haven't.
So a lot on the pipeline, a lot of stuff we're doing. Just stay tuned on all our socials at ETB Network, across the network, for everything that we are doing. So yeah, just stay tuned. And 5 episodes now officially away from 300 for this show, which I already spoke to Tom, and the reunion is going to happen for episode 300. So
very exciting stuff.
Let's just put it this way. I'll give you a small teaser for episode 300, even though we're 5 episodes away from it. Zain's going to play the timeline moderator for the show.
Okay.
And we're gonna go back into the ETB network vault, so to speak, and tell the story of how this single show created this full network that you see now.
I'm excited to be a very big yet small part of it, because you guys were obviously the originators. So anything I can do to help, I'm very interested. So,
I mean, you got quite a bit of history now here, though, too. Like, let's not.
I mean, I've been doing it since August. I mean, it hasn't been as long as you and him, though. So,
well, you mean August of what year?
For me, it'll be August of 25.
Well, I meant the network itself. You've got history, like.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've been with the network since August of 22, so it's been a long time.
So you definitely got enough to know what's going on around here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell some stories a little bit too of some behind the scenes stuff that has not been talked about either, like how we got to this point. So.
Oh, okay.
So just. It's going to be a fun one. We still got 5 episodes to go between that, but Tom will be back. There will be a reunion for episode 300, so don't miss it. But that'll do it for the show. Anything left to say before we go?
I don't think so. Thanks for bearing with us, even though we went over time yet again. We're going to do a little bit better the next time, we promise. But otherwise, though, a fun show, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, for sure.
Yeah, have a good rest of your week. We'll see you next week as we head into week, 11 for the NFL. Oh, that's this week. But week 12.
Week 12 and week 11 of college football.
Crazy, right? I mean, how that were this. What do they say every year? It snaps by the NFL season.
Excuse me. Week 12 of NFL, week 13 of college football.
You're right.
That's how deep we already are into all of this. It's pretty crazy. So
it's going to be over before you know it. Like both of them are going to be over.
I know.
And it's weird because you and I sorry that I'm rambling, but like when we set up the content calendar every year, it's always the football stuff that is the largeness of our calendar.
Yeah, it's a lot of football stuff.
So I'm going to stop talking now. So for Zain Bando, I'm Nick Morgasen. This was episode 295 of ETB Sports, presented by Playback. We will see you next week for episode 296. Have a good week, everybody.
Have a good one.